Hi guys. Okay, so you should have all completed all of this section. You would have done that earlier and I have marked it and let it come back to you. And then this section here, which is your individual sections, so that you've got lots of information to discuss during our podcast today. So today I'm going to get you guys to do your very first. Now it might not be perfect this first time around. That's okay. It's really about getting you to speak, but hopefully by the end of the semester you guys will be strong professional podcasters. So I wanted to show you what I'd like you to do, and I thought I'd do that by actually showing you another group of podcasts. They're a comedy group, and it's called No Such Thing as a Fish, but they do some live performances as well, which is called No Such Thing as the News. Now, you're not going to watch this whole thing. I'm just going to show you how they've set up and what I'd like you to do. So we're going to pretend that you're doing what we call a live podcast. So in front of your classmates, you're going to be introducing yourselves and then go straight into your podcast information. Now, the class should just be watching you, and the 3, 4, or 5 of you in your podcast should be interacting in a conversational manner about your particular topic, okay? I'm going to try and make it fun, make it scary, make it whatever you like, and it should run for at least 7 minutes, a minimum of 7 minutes per group. The rest of you, I'd like you to be making some notes, coming up with some suggestions to improve your other classmates' podcast. And by the end of this semester, I'm actually going to give an award, so a special award, bit of a surprise, to the best podcast group. So there's something really good in it. So the reason that we're doing it, number 1, get you to speak. Number 2, to improve your research and summary skills. And number 3, improve your presentation skills. And finally, just improve your overall confidence in terms of using your English. So it's a really important, exciting activity. I hope that you enjoy it. But let's have a look at what I would like you to do in terms of structure today. So here we go. Just make sure that we're looking at the right screen. Yes, here we go. Okay, so 2 things here. Number 1, they've got a bit of introduction music, and you're more than welcome to do that yourself if you want to have a bit of introduction music that you make, or a particular song that is relevant to your podcast. And next, they've got a bit of a brand or a logo. So if you want to put something, even just print a piece of paper up or chuck something up on the e-board, a PPT, just to have a picture of, this is my podcast and this is what we look like. So just the one, it's not a PowerPoint presentation, but just having something in the background is going to help.
Hello and welcome to No Such Thing as the News, coming to you from up the creek in Greenwich, London. My name is...
So here we've got an introduction. So you guys every week are going to have the same introduction. It's something that gives a bit of consistency to your podcast. So work out who you would like to be your introducer, or if you want to do that each week, different person to actually introduce. Hello and welcome to No Such Thing as a Fish, or hello and welcome to the ethics committee, or whatever might be the case. I'm just going to go back a couple of seconds, hopefully. Hang on. Okay, so let's imagine this is our classroom. So here we've got the 1, 2, 3, 4 group. So you guys are going to be at the front of the classroom looking out at the audience, and you guys are going to be the audience out here, the same as if you're a live audience, okay? So whoever group 1 is, you're going to go first, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, and you're going to be sitting at the front and looking at your very attentive audience.
And welcome to No Such Thing as the News, coming to you from up the creek in Greenwich, London. My name is Dan Schreiber, and I'm sitting here with Anna Jasinski, Andrew Hunter-Murray, and James Harkin. Each week, we'll be taking a look at the most interesting things that we found in the news of the last 7 days. Now, we're not here to scare you or to make you angry.
So here he's actually introduced the purpose of their podcast. So each of you, I have asked you to have a purpose of your podcast. So he says each week we're going to have a look at what's happening in the news. So if you're talking about serial killers, you might say each week we look at a different serial killer and what they did. You notice that they introduced all of the people as well, so feel free to do that in your podcast. So this is really the structure that you want to be looking at.
Angry or tell you what to think. We're not going to give you our opinions on Brexit, but we might, for instance, tell you that according to a recent survey, 46% of people in Japan hide when somebody rings their doorbell. So let's begin, starting with fact number 1, and that is Andrew Hunter Murray.
My fact is that the House of Commons has a special security measure designed to stop the gunpowder plot from ever happening again. So what happens is, before the Queen's speech, which just happened on Wednesday, there's a special ceremony where the Yeomen of the Guard, who are a special military body, search the cellars of the Houses of Parliament for gunpowder. And the thing is, they are looking with candle lanterns, which, if you're looking for gunpowder, so I'll show you quickly what they look like. These are the Yeomen of the Guard, you can see. So they've got their lanterns there.
This is what's protecting.
Yeah.
So here, I just want to talk about the structure really quickly. So Andy's obviously running the show. I think Andy Murray is running the show. So he's kind of getting, what do you think about this and so forth. And that's an option you could do as well if you want to have one person that's dedicated, maybe the person that does the quick introduction to your topic, and then says, such and such, what do you think about this area? They can then go on using their research sheet to explain their perspective, but very quickly and very shortly. So James probably just spoke about 30 seconds, maybe a minute, and then it starts becoming conversational. And that's what you want it to do to make it interesting for the audience.
These are the last line of defence, basically. So they look around and then they don't find any, and then they say, yeah, it's all fine.
Most articles are quick to point out that the Metropolitan Police does conduct a more modern search.
I wondered if they might find some dummy gunpowder that, like, a security firm had left there.
So one of the other things about the Queen's speech is Black Rod, who I'm sure most of us have heard of. It's very hard to search for him on the internet. Basically, he's a parliamentary official. He's technically called the Gentleman Usher of the Black Rod because he carries a black staff, and he.
Okay, so we'll just stop there, but you can see how they're actually interacting with one another. So what I'm going to get you guys to do is, I think I might give you just the rest of this class to actually practice in your groups. So everybody get into your groups and work out how you're going to structure it, where everyone's going to sit. Are you going to have an introduction person? What is your introduction going to be? Are you going to have a song at the beginning? Do you think that you might need to have a bit of a logo? So logo.
And welcome to
So a logo, something like this, and then you can be prepared for when we're going to start doing the actual podcast. So after your break, after the end of period 2, I would like group 1 to get ready to sit up the front, and you guys are going to be presenting your first podcast. Once you've finished, I then want group 2 to come up, group 3 and group 4. Now, as you can see with these guys, they have microphones here. Okay, so this means they can record it and make it a podcast. What I would like you to do, if someone can get their phone, not their telephone, or a recording device, I don't need to see your faces. All I want to do is actually hear the podcast. So I want to hear your speaking, your fluent speaking. So if someone can put that in between the 4 or 5 of you, and you press record, complete your 7 to 10 minute podcast, press stop, and then you can send that through to me. I'm not sure how. Ask Abel. Hi, Abel. If someone can show whoever it is to send that through to me so I can listen to it and give you a bit of a score. so I can work out who is going to be the successful winners at the end of the semester. So group 1, group 2, group 3, group 4, get into your groups, start planning, working out how you're going to make it really pop, make it really interesting, and make it flow really well. And then in the next period, I'd like you to walk straight in the door, group 1 to sit up with your chairs facing the audience and get started straight away. All right, thank you very much, guys. As usual, I'm available on WeChat if you find anything a bit confusing, or you'd like some advice, or you've got a background that you'd like to use and you just want to ask if it's okay or not, please do so. All right, so the rest of the class off to practice, and then period 3, get straight into it. All right, thank you, and I hope you have fun with it as well. Until next class, I'll speak to you then.